What if the Earth was flat? It begins, like all strange stories do, with a shift no one can explain. One day, the world is a sphere, floating silently in the void, obeying the subtle laws of gravity and motion. The next, it's flat, utterly, absurdly flat, not metaphorically, not in some misunderstood historical sense, but literally, impossibly, comically flat, a great disk spinning through space like a coin flipped by the gods. At first, no one believes it. Satellites go haywire, GPS systems glitch, flights reroute in confusion, then panic. Astronauts aboard the ISS look down and see something they can't unsee, a strange edge where Earth ends, a clean border like the cutoff of a painting. News anchors stammer, scientists break into cold sweats, religious leaders seize the moment. Internet conspiracy forums go dark, not because they were wrong, but because they were too right. And the planet, if it can still be called that, changes fast. Gravity doesn't work the way we remember. It no longer pulls everything toward a central core. Instead, it points vaguely down, toward the center of the flat disk. The farther out you go toward the edge, the more slanted your reality becomes. People in what used to be Australia start walking with a lean. Objects roll eastward and refuse to stay put. The oceans, once held neatly by the inward pull of a sphere, start sliding outward in slow, inevitable floods. Rivers reverse, mountains collapse, the seas tilt slightly toward the rim, creating massive surges that drown coastlines and pull ships into strange, spiraling gyres. The middle of the world, once just a spot on the equator, becomes a gravitational high point. Scientists call it the bulge, others call it the new Everest. Everyone tries to move there. Civilizations fall into chaos, countries splinter along strange new borders. Those closer to the center become privileged zones of stability. Those closer to the edge become desperate, flooded, tilted nightmares. Massive migration begins, highways clog, planes are grounded, entire cities become ghost towns as their residents flee uphill. And then there's the edge. No one knows what lies beyond it. The old horizon is gone. In its place is a sheer wall of atmospheric mist and uncertainty. Some say there's nothing, just a drop into an infinite abyss. Others claim there's a great ice wall, hundreds of meters tall, holding the oceans back. A few expeditions are launched. Most of them never return. One does, but its crew speaks only in riddles, eyes wide and glassy. They say the edge is alive, that it watches, that it hums at night. As the months pass, Earth's rotation, once balanced by its spherical shape, becomes unpredictable. Days grow shorter, then longer. Seasons lose their rhythm. The sun begins to trace strange arcs across the sky, rising in odd places and setting where it shouldn't. Weather patterns unravel. Storms circle like broken compasses. The magnetic field, once generated by the molten iron core of a round planet, weakens. Compasses spin. Birds fall from the sky. Aurora borealis flickers over the equator like a hallucination. Religions rise and fall in record time. Some worship the new edge as a divine revelation. Others preach that the Earth has always been flat, and that this is simply the veil lifting. Scientists, long confident in their equations and orbits, now speak in whispers. Telescopes reveal constellations out of place. The moon, once a reliable companion, begins to behave erratically. Tides lurch and crash with no rhythm. One night, the moon simply doesn't rise at all. In the chaos, humanity adapts. New cities are built around the center. People learn to compensate for the slant, building structures with angles and reinforcements that defy old physics. Languages change. Gravity isn't a universal word anymore, it's directional. People talk about gravity steepness like they once talked about altitude. Engineering becomes a survival art. Gyroscopes and weighted boots become essential fashion. Kids grow up learning to walk on inclines. But always, the question returns, what lies at the edge? A generation raised in this new flat world becomes obsessed. They build airships, drilling machines, tunneling crafts. Some theorize that the disk is thick, that there's another side beneath, maybe even another civilization. Others suggest that the edge leads not to nothing, but to something else entirely. Another dimension, a mirror Earth, a god. Then, finally, someone goes over. It's a live stream watched by billions, a single figure in a reinforced capsule, sliding past the last marker, disappearing into the mist. The feed goes static for a moment. Then, against all logic, it returns. The figure is still alive, still transmitting. They're standing, not falling, but standing, somewhere else. And in the background, barely visible, is a second sun. The world holds its breath. Maybe Earth was never meant to be a sphere. Maybe it's a doorway, a gate, maybe flatness is not a flaw but a feature. Whatever the truth, one thing is certain: the edge is no longer the end, it's only the beginning.